what clearly is a shocker of a story, where lawmakers have turned lawbreakers. Just look at these two visuals. Two officials, one from Himachal, another from Odisha. They were beaten by Netas in their workplace. The first images are from Odisha. The man being dragged and kicked here is Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation Additional Commissioner Ratnakar Sahoo. And the men who are landing these blows on the official are the supporters of BJP leader Jagannath Pradhan. The men were angry as the officer allegedly misbehaved with their leader. Now these four persons have been arrested. Now look at the second image. These are the images which are coming in from Himachal, where an NHAI, which is the National Highways Authority of India official Achal Jindal, was assaulted by state's Panchayati Raj Minister Anirudh Singh. Why? The minister then went to inspect, in fact had gone to inspect a building which had collapsed, which was near a highway, and he was not satisfied with the officer's reply to the accident. Mr. Jindal was left bleeding with a head injury. He's right here on the hospital bed, and the minister has now been booked for the assault. Why do Netas and their supporters feel so blatant and arrogant? What gives them the confidence that they are above the law? That is what I wish to ask to the panelists who are joining me now. Ajay Shankar is former Power Secretary. We also have Yashwardhan Azad, former IPS officer. Yashwardhan Azad, why do Netas feel that they can beat officers, bureaucrats and get away with it?
Well, Netas always feel that because there's nothing constructive they can do, because they don't have time for any kind of, creative work which they can do in office. With the secretaries, work on the table. So the only thing they can show is of law dispensation, and that is law dispensation to impress their followers. So the followers will complain about certain road and certain engineer for vested interests, and they will go to the spot to show how they are the real ruling party and they are kings of that particular area. This is reflected not only in the ministers' minds, but also in the local karyakartas, because when you win an election, there are a lot of promises you already give those people. When they come back for you to fulfill those promises, the only way is that many of those things which are wrongly promised, you do it through arm twisting the officers. So this is the kind of attitude which has developed across the states, and it will continue, Maria, for the lack of better constructive things which these ministers can do. Imagine today there is a churn in Karnataka, and the kind of things which are happening to become minister is unimaginable. And this is why it is there. The politics is rotten, and you will obviously have things like this emerging time and again, not only now.
But Mr. Azad, isn't there a law protecting bureaucrats? That they can't be beaten up, thrashed the manner in which they have been? Just look at these visuals which have come in from Odisha. What explanation can be given? That he was thrashed because supposedly he misbehaved with their leader. So the leader perhaps sanctioned this kind of aggression?
I totally agree with you, and it is because the officers in that particular area don't stand tall. The superintendent of police, the collector of that area, they're supposed to visit the spot immediately and take the situation under control, because the attack against an officer is an attack against the system. And therefore, today you will see the officers today try to cut corners. They will never try to come on the face of an issue and never try to confront. And this is across the board. And if you choose the right officers, this will not happen. For example, the minister should have been straight away arrested on an FIR. And you know, you can lodge an FIR, nobody can do anything after that. At best, they can transfer you. So these are things which used to happen earlier. But I can also say that the Netas were also sagacious. Even if you cut across lines and go a little overboard, they will not punish you or reprimand you for that. So the whole culture, ecosystem has changed.
From Himachal to Odisha, there is somebody, there is great degree of brazenness, I would say, Ajay Shankar, and also a sense that they can get away because it has been sanctioned by their Netas. In one place, it is a minister, Himachal minister, who has done so. Another, again, a ruling dispensation's, karyakartas, the workers who have gone ahead and beaten up the officer.
The problem that we are witnessing is a very serious problem. It's a structural problem, and it is getting worse by the day. And this problem is not being adequately recognized, or the root causes being properly identified and action being taken. So let me begin by the first problem. The first problem is that the criminal justice system in India is collapsing. I'm making a very strong statement, and deliberately. So nobody really expects that if you beat up somebody or you do something else which is violative of the law, you will actually end up getting convicted. So the worst example which comes to my mind is the Delhi chief minister having his chief secretary being beaten up in his office. Now, though he was from another party and the ruling party was different, but still the law didn't take its due course, because the due course required arrest and conviction. The other major problem, and that's the other serious problem, is that in the political class, there is the belief that I want political power to dispense political patronage.
That's right.
But I do not have the belief and the confidence that I must act within the framework of the law, and that I will not violate the law. And the third problem is that India is a country which is experiencing an explosion of expectations, and the government machinery and its delivery capacities are weak. And the public perception about government servants and what they do and how efficient they are is very low. So there is this feeling that you must go and intimidate and bully people. Now, when you go and intimidate and bully people, then people lose their heads and beat up people. So I think unless the political class across parties, because some party or the other is in power across India, recognizes that the foundations of India are being weakened to the point it may sort of disintegrating, and that the use of physical violence by citizens is the antithesis of any organized state, because the state should have the monopoly of the use of violence through its police force. So these things will really make it very difficult for India to achieve its full potential or be a Viksit Bharat, when at the very foundation, it's a tinderbox which can explode any day, anywhere.
All right.
I can name incidents where a Bihar DM was assaulted to death. Now, when I began service, the respect for the state machinery was such that nobody would even dare to dream of raising a hand against a junior officer, even on a senior officer.
That's right.
So I would end by urging that it's a wake-up call, and I think the wake-up call is for the political class across the parties, that political cadres must be told, communicated, that you have to act within the framework of the law. You cannot use violence or encourage your supporters to use violence for whatever cause it is there. Because that is weakening India every day, weakening the Indian state, and India will be unable to achieve its full potential. This problem is recognized and addressed, and I repeat, it's a problem across parties, across states, and it's getting worse.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we are seeing across states. In one state, it is Congress government, another one BJP government. Similar behavior by Netas in both the states. So Ajay Shankar and Yashwardhan Azad, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.